Well, hello there. Thanks for joining in today on this webinar about some hidden challenges of living in the greater Machuca Valley area. Let's jump right into it. As already shared in the invitation, some hidden challenges that you might face in Costa Rica. And this is my findings of the 12 years we have been living here and might hopefully be of help for you so you don't have to repeat all the same mistakes. So this webinar is basically for anyone who is interested in Costa Rica or lives here about to come or just researching, but mainly for people who just came recently to Costa Rica and are testing it out, or those ones who live here and are curious about how to get around things and to find a way around. So the next 40 to 45 minutes, I would like to show you my findings and that I found out or had to find out the hard way. Um, Talking to literally hundreds of people and families and and experience their situation, their struggles, and their experiences. And I really, really hope that this can be helpful for others. Disclaimer: this is only a general overview. This is not meant to dive into some detailed processes like how to get your residency, where to find the best car mechanic, or construction company. This is just showing like a global overview. It might be a little too much to talk about these details. So, who is talking? Why would you believe me? You don't have to. So, my name is Florian. I am a photographer. My family and I, we moved to Costa Rica almost 12 years ago now. I've been living and traveling in Latin America for several years also prior to that. We lived in Grecia, beautiful place in Costa Rica, then moved to Ecovilla and then to Maderal. So we were among the first settlers and pioneers, community builders of Ecovilla. We built a house there, and we also co-founded the first school of Ecovilla, which is Casa Sula. We are rooted in expat community. Well, we have one leg in the international world and one strong leg also in Costa Rica, living in Maderal in a Costa Rican neighborhood. And I'm working locally. So I work in tourism. I have a travel agency for wildlife photography. I do hotel photography, also real estate, and I travel around the whole country. So I have a pretty good grasp of living as local as possible. And I am also creator and author of this beautiful coffee table book, which I'm really proud of, called Wild and Scenic. And I'm a big fan of Machuca Valley. I think this is awesome. And that's why I want to help to even make this place more awesome for others to join in. And especially now that the whole place is growing, so that we have best opportunities to make this as sustainable as possible and to give people a real understanding of how it is to live in Costa Rica and what you have to prepare for. So for me, it is very important also to share in this webinar that I'm a big fan of the Machuca Valley, the lifestyle, and that's why we are here for so long and really push through some challenges because we love to be here. I think the concept of the international community and the intentional community is amazing. I love to be amongst pioneers, figuring out a new way of life, making it happen. I like to be in nature, harvesting my own mangoes here. I love the WhatsApp group and the community sharings, and definitely the volleyball, which was a recently added to our community life. The parties and gatherings, I like to go up and meet people in Alegría, in the Ecovilla projects. I love the ferias, the farmers market. And I think this is just a huge opportunity for us human beings to come together and create something new, something which hasn't been there, and which has a lot of opportunities to create a lifestyle and to make an impact on the world. That if we figure out a way, then others might also benefit from that and copy the lifestyle. And I think that's an overall beneficial um, for the world. So amazing people have been coming to the valley. I met so many great people, and unfortunately, also had to say goodbye to so many great people. And so this is now my contribution to hopefully helping out others and avoiding some of the biggest mistakes we have been going through. The description of expats, I think there are some three different types of people, and not every situation applies to all different types of people living here. There are the families or individuals who just come here and they are kind of passing through. They have some extended vacations. They're testing out countries and projects, and you meet them definitely at every gathering because they want to meet people and everything is new. So for them, it's not so much challenges right now. It's just kind of a honeymoon period. So you go to the river, you go to the pool, you enjoy parties, and so this is kind of one type of people. But maybe coming back and staying here for longer. And then there is the serious committed ones who already sold some of their assets in their home country and are here to stay and figuring it all out. And they're now pushing through all the challenges and making it happening. And this webinar basically is for them, but also for anyone else who is interested in learning a little bit more and making their life easier. And then there is the long-term expats, and they have been here for several years. They have it figured out and living the dream. And they are maybe not at every gathering anymore. And so that's the reason there is because they basically meet with their long-term friends here and organize different events. And so sometimes I get asked, or I hear comments, "Oh, I went to that gathering, and I thought, oh, I'm the new one." And I talk to the people, and they say, "Oh, I'm here for 2 weeks." "Oh, me too. Me too." So they ask, "Okay, who are the people living here?" And that's the reason why, because you're not seeing them all the time and anywhere, because it's just heartbreaking every time to make friends and then make new friends the other week. And so what we do is we gather among those ones like who are consolidated friends and living here for long term. So basically, that's the reason. We dive into the first challenge, with I think, and we have been going through a lot, is the money. Um, Here in Costa Rica, paradise is not for free, and you can tell that pretty quickly. And I wrote a column in the amazing Machuca Elements, number 34. You can find that online, Machuca Elements Costa Rica. Shout out to Anton of doing that. It's a weekly column about life here in the Machuca Valley, different aspects of life. And this is another form of sharing, which is really valuable information. And so I wrote a piece about that. And people are surprised about how much things are costing here. And I came up with the comparison with buying a new MacBook Pro online, which they advertise for $1,599 with the basic model. But then you go up a notch with the 16-inch screen, more storage, another chip, and this and that, and then you end up paying $4,000. And here, kind of the question is the same: what lifestyle do you want? And then if you can start similarly for a MacBook Pro, about $1,600 a month, but then you can go up of $7,000 depending really on what you choose to invest your money in. For example, if you rent a house in Ecovilla, which is very convenient, it's basically plug and play. Everything is set up, and there's the pool, there's the river, there's the community, there's the party, and the deliveries, and everything is ready for you to win. But then you pay rental prices of Ecovilla. If you buy a house or build a house or you need a mortgage, then you definitely going to have this mortgage payment, which is can be a significant amount of money every month. Then there is the private school. If your kids don't speak Spanish, basically that's the solution. This private school. Um, if you like enjoy healthy and organic food, that's a different price also. Then you have a car or you have two cars maybe. In our case, we basically need two cars. We live in Maderal, so no bus here. I go to work, I take the car, and my wife drives the kids to school, or well, in any circumstance, we need to be mobile and the two cars. Then we enjoy vacations in Switzerland and in Guatemala, but that's also an extra you have to work into your budget. Eating out is a big one, or after school activities and sports and here and there. So you see, it's really what you choose to invest in, and then you ask yourself maybe how are locals doing that with these prices. So let's start with the housing, which is biggest one is if you have your own house or generational, you just inherit your house or you're living within a family home. You don't have to pay rent, or if you're living in San Mateo and the surroundings, you might pay $300, $600 a month of rent. That's a big difference. And then they go to the local school, which is basically for free. Then they go to the farmers market and eat basic, like the local farmers market in San Mateo, and you have really simple meals, rice and beans and plantains and meat, not every day, and eggs and stuff, and not eating out so much, and definitely not traveling by airplane once a year. And so that's how locals can survive with the prices here. But then also the reality is that most of the families they have both parents working and and chipping in, and sometimes even several people living together or generations living together in the same house, everybody chipping in, and that's the way to do it. So yeah, money is the big one, and I've seen so many people, good people, coming and struggling and just realizing, well, I can't make it, I can't afford it, and so basically, yeah, money is one of the biggest challenges here. Then the other one is construction, and we've been going through that process twice. We built a house in Ecovilla, and we built the house that we're in now in Maderal. So construction is a really tricky thing, and basically it all comes down to the people you work with. You could say there are three types, there might be more, but the three basic types how to build your house. One is you hire an architect and a contractor, and basically it's turnkey, and or they are following up on everything like the plans and the execution and process and permits and everything else. So that's one way of doing it. You can do your own design and hire an engineer who draws the plan and submits the plan for permission, because there's no way around that. And then you work with the contractor and you just leave the architects outside. That's also a very known way of doing it, because the architect sometimes charges around 10 to 12% of the whole volume just for planning. And they say, I will be supervising construction and make sure everything works. And then there's a way, kind of a local way, you do your own plans. You still have to have an engineer or an architect to draw the plans and then submit the plans for permission. But then you can hire your own people and then basically do the purchase of the materials and be there all the time and explain the workers what they have to do. This is a very local way, and it's definitely the cheapest one. But you will be almost full time working on the construction of supervising, which is, by the way, also something I recommend if you can do it. Be there as much as possible, get involved, make sure they do the house you actually pay for and you envision. I've known people who they had a chair, like a camping chair, they brought it to the construction site, they sat there for the whole day looking at how the guys work. And yeah, we did that too because sometimes it just goes wrong. And so, anyway, doesn't matter which one you choose from these solutions, anything can go wrong, even if you pay horrendous amounts of money, because there might be a good, really good contractor, and they get a lot of recommendations because they did an awesome job on your house. And then you recommend them to others. But maybe it was just one house at the time, and now there are five construction sites. But the guy has one really, really gifted crew, and then quality is kind of falling apart. So it's always hard to recommend because if they did it once, doesn't mean that they do the great job all the time. And I've heard so many stories about construction, and so the best advice is always, yeah, be there as much as possible, apply common sense, and don't just trust the people because yeah, they might be distracted, and skillful workers are the ones you want to work with, and that's why I put it here. It's about the people. Really, it is. You can go cheap, intermediate, or very pricey, and it could turn wrong all the time, or it could be a good experience. So it's really about getting to the right people. That's about construction. And yeah, know that a budget is not always a budget. You know, you have to work in, at least internally, that you have to go over budget, because that's just reality. It always turns out to be more expensive. Then another one of the big challenges is the other side of Pura Vida, that what we enjoy all, and which is being repeated every day. Pura Vida, Pura Vida. It's kind of you enjoy life. Thanks for that beautiful line, which has been drawn on my waterfall. And Pura Vida is basically what brought us here. It's the nature, it's the animals, it's the people, it's relaxed lifestyle. It's not that busy culture. But there is another side of Pura Vida, and if you know about it, then you can find your way and accepting it. So Latin culture is very different from European culture, from US culture. And so don't just assume that if you know something from another country, it will apply the same here. Um, I have been living and traveling many, many years before we came to Costa Rica in different countries of Latin America. And it's just a different lifestyle. So you have to get an understanding of the lifestyle, basically. Um, Processes take longer here. You go somewhere to bank, to the insurance, uh, to the municipality, wherever, and then basically have to wait. So prepare for waiting, and also prepare for getting back home without even getting what you wanted to do. So just keep that in mind. It takes time. The bureaucracy is horrible, and there seems to be no logic. Um, you apply for some water, and then they say, okay, we need these documents. And once you deliver the documents, then they come up with new things you have to do, and then you jump over these hurdles, and then there's the next one, and that's just you have to understand that the different entities, they don't really talk to each other so much. And so you go to the, for example, you apply for the residency, so you go to the immigration police, and then you go to the insurance, and then you go to them, and you get a set of documents from, because they don't talk to each other even though it's the same government. And then you have to basically hand in the papers. You have to bring the papers literally to the other institution. And then sometimes they even say, okay, you're missing a document, but that's what I got from the insurance. Sorry, come back next time. That's just how it is. And that's the bureaucracy. But on the other hand, I have also experienced like really untrained people. So you go somewhere, they tell you something, and then once you get back, you get to another person and say, no, no, you're missing another document. You're missing a signature. You're missing a stamp, or it's not translated, or it's not apostilled, or whatever. So be prepared that the people there, they always tell you exactly what to do, even though they have not a complete understanding of the topic, and then you you are bearing the consequences of them not telling you everything in the first place. Estafa, which is scam, is a reality here. Most Costa Ricans are lovely people, but you also can't be naive. I've been scammed a couple of times. For the kitchen, for example, we had a really nice conversation several ones with the kitchen designer, a really sympathetic guy, and we trusted him. I try to trust people all the time. I don't want to live in fear. I don't want to live in distrusting or expecting that they, yeah, screw you over all the time. So that's not a way of living. So I trust people. And so the guy said, yeah, I would need an upfront payment because I need to buy the materials. And we did that. We agreed on a certain amount, and then we didn't see him again. So no kitchen delivered, no money is paid back. And we even went through all the processes of suing him. There's just no way of getting hold on that guy because the company, it was basically the company and the guy just disappeared, closed their doors, and scammed several people. So yeah, and recently I just heard from another person that a similar thing happened to them. And yeah, don't be naive. Don't trust people just because they seem to be very friendly and upfront. They are really good salesmen. They're really proud, and they always tell you, "I can do this. Can you weld? Yes. Can you do woodwork? Yes, I'm the greatest. Electricity? Yes, of course." And so they will always tell you they can do everything. It doesn't matter what, because that's a cultural thing also. They're very proud. They would never ever say, I can do that, because that would look bad. And so, yeah, be a little bit cautious about when people just say, I can do everything. Maybe they can't. Keep everyone happy challenge, because only because you enjoy living in Costa Rica doesn't necessarily mean that the whole family is happy here too. That's a big one. So maybe your spouse is not happy or not having a good time, not getting used to the climate, the people, community, whatever. So and or cultural activities. So we drive to San Jose every now and then because we wanted to go a concert or and going out or eating out. Um, uh, and for others, it's a comfortable lifestyle. You live in the yeah in the middle of nowhere basically, and you're accustomed to all the things that your home country is delivering. So public transport, for example, or one day deliveries, access to all supplies and gadgets and repairs, and that's a big one for me. I have my gear, my camera, my lenses. Um, there's just not that much of a supply or repair. There's one guy that can do repair, and he's living on the other side of San Jose, driving there all the time. It's just not, things are not accessible as they are in different countries. So you have to, yeah, you have to accept that. And then the social environment for kids, but also for adults. If you're happy and having a great time and your kids are suffering, that's a really dire situation. They need friends and they need to have fun also. Their social environment is very important. And so that's a major challenge to actually keep everybody happy and deliver everybody what they need to live a fulfilled life. And then a big one is turnover, why people are coming and leaving. And I hear that question a lot. And then getting back to my example of the gathering and then people meeting each other and they asking, oh, but everybody's here just on vacation. Yeah, that might be the impression, but it's not. There's so many people living here in the greater Machuca Valley area, but definitely people are coming and going. And some of the reasons are that most are seekers. They haven't decided yet on staying. They're not yet committed, and they come and they try it out for a while, and then they go. Some financial challenges we've talked about. Family members back home, they need your help. Your parents are sick, or anything can happen basically because you're not rooted here. It's just, even though you live here, you're a visitor at the end of the day because you have family in other places and they might get priority when things really, really get dire. For some, the climate. I have heard people moving other elsewhere because it might be too hot or too humid, or just yeah, you have to get used to bugs. That's just how it is. And then let's face it, many divorce happens, and that's basically most couples or some couples they come and there are some cracks already in their relationship, and so things start to get complicated here. Get used to a new climate, environment, culture, language, and everything else, and so there's tension and stress, and that adds on to the relationship, and then also construction and financial burden and this and that. And yeah, there were several divorces, and then people they just move away. Homesick is a real thing because you are accustomed to your culture, your way of living, or the just you miss what once you don't have it anymore, you start missing it, whatever that might be. Um, then maybe you were not able to make friends or meet like-minded people or connect to the place. You might have false expectations because the situation in your country is so bad that you say everything else is better. The grass is greener or the jungle is greener in Costa Rica, and then you have some high expectations and some might not be met. Um, or you are not able to find the perfect school for your kids. They don't feel happy, or they don't feel that they have the social environment necessary. And I had that discussion a lot with Casa Sula, where my wife and I were heavily involved. Where people had just different expectations about schooling and stuff. Um, and so I also have three advices. The one is the first one is to bring your finances in order. Again, the reference to the Machuca elements, 34. Then, if you move here, maybe you can keep your income, if possible, for a while in order to settle here. Um, if you work online, for example, that would be a good thing to do. So it might not be enough to make a living working in the healing environment because there's so many healers and health providers and life coaches. So maybe expand that and work online or do groups and workshops and invite people from Costa Rica. But the Machuca Valley is maybe not now, in future maybe, but not now enough people actually to provide all these services. Then stop comparing. You live here now, so this is a whole new package of things. And so, yeah, what was it was, and now you have to find a way of accepting how life is in Costa Rica. And then one big one is learn Spanish because this helps you also to really, really enjoy Costa Rica, get most out of it, and is also a way to uh, like to getting taken more seriously because if somebody is coming to Costa Rica and they only speak English, they're more likely to be scammed or not taken seriously because there are some skillful people who see rich people getting here and they have no clue and they believe everything and yeah it's better to speak a language and actually talk to several people and have more options of service providers or yeah, just professionals. Then understanding the culture and processes. If you need to go to the bank, you don't need external help. You don't depend on friend translating or of a Costa Rican that speaks Spanish and can basically, yeah, tell you anything they want or maybe to their advantage. That's also one of the big reasons why Lucia, my wife, she started giving Spanish classes. So she did the whole process of becoming a Spanish teacher to be able to talk to people and she's offering workshops, she's offering immersion weekends, trips to Guatemala. And also the big one, which I recommend, highly recommend, is go to the language and cultural exchange that is happening, I believe, every Thursday in the local library in San Mateo, where expats and locals meet. And then you have the opportunity to talk to each other and share experiences. So that's a big one, which I can highly recommend. I went to Guatemala actually 18 years ago, and I just did it for fun. Basically, I had nothing to do. But then I realized with the years that the Spanish opened up a whole new culture, like songs and poems, and a whole continent of people uh, to connect to. And obviously, living in Costa Rica, that's the only way. So my three advices to you: learning the language is also connected to learning the way of living, learning the culture, and learning why things are being done that way. And that helps. The understanding always helps to not like getting too frustrated. But still, I mean, being realistic nowadays, I still get frustrated. I went to the bank the other day, and I was yeah, like 3.5 hours at the bank, and I was sitting 2 hours in front of that lady, and she was just typing I don't know what into her computer for opening a bank account, which literally, I mean, going back to the point of no comparison, but I'm Swiss, and when I go to the bank to open an account, it doesn't take more than 15 minutes, seriously. So yeah, and she was just typing there, and then eventually she asked somebody for help, and I thought you could have asked an hour ago, you know. And so that's people they're not really knowledgeable, but they don't want to show their weaknesses. Just and then you bear the burden of them figuring it out and telling you whatever. Because if you come back, you go to the next person, and they're not really affected about your um, misinterpretation of stuff they should have done. All right. Have a nice day and enjoy. Pura vida. Shout out to Roy for the nice organic coffee that I'm enjoying here. All right. So if there are no more questions, then we can wrap this up and keep it really concentrated.